Welcome to the Involve podcast, where we discuss how COVID-19 has and will affect our and everyone's freshman year of college at Suffolk University. In today's episode, we will be conversing about our research topics and predict what our freshman year will look like. Our hosts will now introduce themselves and discuss how COVID personally affected them. My name is Sam Bailey. I am from Bolton, Connecticut. This fall, I will be majoring in public relations and minoring in political science and legal studies. COVID affected me because it limited the ways I could still be involved in everything I was before school was closed. I was the yearbook editor-in-chief, so meeting after school for hours finishing the pages and getting photos was no longer possible. And all of the work was now done over Zoom, and I was typically the only student working on it from home then on because not everyone had the computer access they needed at home. Also, as captain of the tennis team, we also had team meetings over Zoom, and the other captain and I would post weekly workouts and drills to try at home on our team website. So being involved like I was became very difficult to continue to do while no longer being able to meet in person.
Hi, my name is Bella Kazarowski. I'm from Anchorage, Alaska, and I will be majoring in biology and playing on Suffolk's women's ice hockey team. With the coronavirus pandemic hitting globally, it's been insane to watch it heavily impact the lives of everyone around me, including myself. For myself, I play hockey, and so basically it's just the rinks were closed for a while, and so they started to open back up in May, and so I could have normal practice during that time. However, precautions were made, so people had to social distance. We had to put our gear on in the parking lot, and the number of people allowed on an ice time was reduced. But towards the end of July, my hockey team got news that the league and school is postponing our season until January 1st. So that was really unfortunate news, and it kind of sucked, and I wasn't really sure if I was planning to come to campus for the first semester anymore, because if I wasn't able to train or practice with my team and all of my classes were going to be online, then I kind of wanted to stay home where I knew I could train and work and just succeed in my own environment, and then head to Suffolk in January. However, we are actually able to begin practices in October and November, so I decided to live on campus in the fall.
Hey everyone, my name is Jason Hood. I'm from North Haven, Connecticut, and this fall I'll be attending Sawyer Business School at Suffolk University. Personally, COVID has been an advantage, yet a really big disadvantage for me. When COVID hit, I was out of a job, so I got onto unemployment since March 15th. So since March 15th, I've been receiving $600 a week. So that really helped because obviously I didn't have to work, so it helped with that. But then it also helped with saving a lot of money for school and helping with the tuition and books and stuff like that. But then it also was a really huge disadvantage because I missed half of my senior high school experience, prom and football games, stuff like that. But COVID also took away a lot of stuff that I wanted to do this summer, my friends, and go on vacation. So it was good, but a lot bad.
My name is Rebecca. I am from Seattle, Washington, and this fall I will be majoring in marketing at the Sawyer Business School. Due to the safety of my family and I decided to quit my part-time job, and to isolate myself from others until my state's phase 2 began. So Bella, what was your research about?
Yeah, so my research was about online learning during the coronavirus pandemic, and basically how institutions of higher education, with their software for online learning, should simplify to the easiest, most basic software so that everyone, no matter where their background is from, is able to log on, and be able to work the software. Because it's hard because everyone has different lives and online classes need to be personable with the professor and the student and like the class and like students in general together. And so universities are really focusing on students' well-being, health, and safety. So during this time, there are many stressful things that could happen in a college student's life that could affect the quality of work. So like professors having like online check-ins. Like I know during our Writing 101 class, like Professor Frangipane and our tutor have like continuously checked on us, and we've had meetings with them and emails just to make sure that we're doing okay during this time. Which I think is really important. But anywho, Jason, what are some precautions that the university is taking for the fall?
Some precautions that I found when researching was just like basically stay 6 feet apart as much as we can, and like try to not make big gatherings as we could like not help it. And of course, like wear masks anytime we're around people, like just to keep that precaution. And then they have a lot of wash stations, a lot of like sanitizers all over the campus. And some classes are going online. So that'll hopefully help keep us safer than having more in-person classes. And then in some classes you could choose whether you want to go in. So the students that don't feel comfortable not going in, they don't have to go in. The students who do, they will go in, but of course have to wear a mask all the time. And yeah, just keeping like gatherings small and just keeping everything clean. And then we're supposed to be having like, I think weekly or tests done just to make sure everyone's safe. And then Sam, through your research, why are we still going to be charged activity fees in the fall at SFIC?
Well, many universities have struggled with whether or not to charge activity fees this upcoming semester. And one of the reasons why Suffolk is still charging fees is because they're still going to try and have virtual club meetings and practices for the sports in this fall semester. But the reason why some other universities have gotten rid of their fees is because they understand that the experiences that their students will be having this fall are not the same as before. For example, the College of New Jersey stated that their institution is dropping a total of $1,100 in cost this fall semester. That included a decrease in their room and board and the elimination of all student fees. Their president explained that they did this because they are aware that with the pandemic still going on, their offerings this semester will not be equivalent to previous years. Rebecca, what did student involvement look like in the past?
Yeah, in the past, before the whole pandemic, students were able to engage on and off campus. And what that means is students were able to attend class, go visit their professor during office hour, and like meet with their peers. However, due to the pandemic and just what student involvement might look like in the fall is a little bit different, and we just have to be a little bit more diligent and intentional about how we spend our time, and also take precautions that the government and the school offers. Student involvement will also differ because it is now virtual, or many of the clubs are virtual and activities will be virtual. However, I do believe that there will be some activities for newcomers and incoming freshmen during the fall, and so hopefully that will turn out well.
Thank you for listening to the Involve podcast. Tune in next time where we will interview Ms. Stephanie Barboza of the Suffolk University Academic Advising Center to get her take on how the university will operate this fall.
Welcome to Involve Podcast, where we discuss COVID-19 and how it will affect our and everyone's freshman year of college at Suffolk University. In today's episode, we have the honor and privilege of speaking with Suffolk's Assistant Director of Undergraduate Academic Advising Center, Ms. Barboza. We have prepared some important and burning questions we have and to discuss Suffolk's future.
We'll just jump right in. So as an academic advisor at Suffolk, what does your job entail?
So I am an assistant director in the Undergraduate Academic Advising Center. Primarily, my role is to work with students. Our office works with all students. We are primarily assigned to students who are undeclared, who haven't yet officially declared a major, and then we work with them to kind of do a little bit of major exploration, and then they would move on to declaring their major and then working with the faculty member. For students who already have declared a major, we typically work with them mostly on like course selection, if they have questions about their program evaluation, how they're progressing with their degree. And then also we do a lot of, one of our big roles is also study abroad. So students who are interested in going to either our Madrid campus or one of our other programs, our office works with students to get those courses approved. Again, making sure that the classes students can take abroad will transfer back and help students keep up with their degree progression. Again, like I said, we do a little bit of the major minor exploration. We run workshops for first year students. We'll visit students in their first year seminar, or business students, their SBS 100 career start class, and go over kind of the basics of the program evaluation. For first year students, it's a little tricky not knowing, beyond what you need to take in the first semester. So we talk a little bit about what you would take in the spring semester, how to read your program evaluation, and then really how to begin connecting with, the departments or faculty advisors, and start that networking, building relationships with other partners on campus.
In your opinion, what do you think student involvement will look like in the fall?
I mean, clearly it will be a bit different than what we have had in the past, but it will still exist in the online virtual format and also face-to-face. So not all of our programming is going to be virtual. There'll still be the opportunity for students, student clubs, and organizations to have meetings on campus, to plan some events on campus, obviously following state and local guidelines in terms of social distancing, small, can't have big, receptions or anything like that, but, meetings can still be held, groups of 6 or smaller. So we still hope to have that. One of the things that for the fall semester that's really big in student involvement is the Fall Involvement Fair, what we call the Fall Involvement Fair, where students have the opportunity to learn and get to meet students from other clubs and organizations on campus. In the past, we've had it down in the Boston Common. So a whole part of the Boston Common, was taken up by all the clubs and organizations. Suffolk Radio was there playing music as well. We had our kind of dining services, food vendors there. So obviously that will not happen this year, but we will, my understanding is that there will still be a fall involvement fair. It will be at Romer Plaza in front of Somerset. It's going to be like with the reservation system. So, it'll be throughout a couple of days, and students will be able to, sign up for a time. So you'll still have that opportunity to see what Suffolk has to offer in terms of clubs and organizations, and get to know other students and just see, if that's something that you want to be involved in during your first semester and beyond, I should say. But yeah, it'll still be there. It'll be in a different format, but it still will be there, and the clubs and organizations will continue to run.
About what percentage would you say students are dorming on campus, kind of connecting with the fall, or studying remotely?
I don't have the exact numbers, but I would say probably it's going to be split in the middle. We do have right now a lot of students who are still requesting, wanting to live on campus. A few students have decided, for the current situation that it might be best to stay home. For students who are out of state or out of the country and their goal was to come into Boston, for them, sometimes it just, it's understandable. It makes sense to stay home right now. And even some of the students who maybe have been locally who wanted to come onto campus but have decided for the fall semester to stay home. But we still have plenty of students. I think all of our, dorms are at full capacity, and meaning that, every student is in a single. So we've had to decrease, obviously, the capacity or the number of students who will be living on campus. But, we are at like full capacity right now with all our dorm rooms. And you may have heard that, we have students, upperclassmen, who wanted to live on campus who will be staying in neighborhood like hotels, because we are still offering, the opportunity to live on campus. It's a little bit different, but, they'll still have, an RA, even in those floors for students who are living like in the hotels nearby. So they'll still have that Suffolk experience where, a floor is dedicated to Suffolk students. But go back to your original question of how many, I think it's going to be split, 50-50, where we have, students who are living on campus and still commuting.
What precautions are Suffolk, that are Suffolk students and staff taking to keep the fall going smoothly?
Lots of precautions. Just going into the buildings now, you'll see, might have not seen, I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to do even the campus tours before this, but there is lots of signage. I was actually on campus yesterday. As you walk in, clearly lots of signage in terms of, the precautions that we should be taking, markers all over the floor, kind of designating your 6 feet distancing. In the elevators, for example, there are only going to be 3 people allowed in the elevator. So we're encouraging students, faculty and staff who can to, use the stairs more often. We've had in the past, getting on an elevator sometimes was tricky. It was a great wait because everybody wanted to get on elevators. So kind of switching that mentality now that, take the stairs this time around because now you're going to be waiting a little bit longer. But even in the elevators, it's marked, sanitizing, hand sanitizer right in front of the elevators. When you get off the floors as well, there are, sanitation stations there, wipes. For example, like on our floor, the Division of Student Success, we will still offer some in-person meetings. Not as many as, we clearly have had in the past. That was what we did, face-to-face. But for students who show up to an in-person meeting, when you get greeted, there's the barriers there, the 6 feet distancing with our admin staff. There are the hand sanitizing stations. You'll be giving, wipes, Clorox wipes before you go into a meeting room, so you're able to wipe down where you'll be sitting. So definitely lots of precautions being taken, and there'll be testing done as well for students who are living on campus and who are commuting. And the same goes for staff and faculty will be on campus. We'll also be getting tested, and so definitely lots of precautions being taken.
Wow, awesome! Can't wait to visit the campus this fall. So this is kind of a little bit not what we were talking about, but it still relates to the undergraduates. Do you know why Suffolk is still requiring fees this fall, whether that be clubs or sports or those things?
So for the activities fee, that's still required again, as I mentioned earlier, because there are still the clubs and organizations will still be meeting. They'll still have face-to-face interaction. They'll still have, some events happening, smaller events. So that just helps with, kind of the budgeting that goes along with the needs for each of the clubs. Technology fees, the other activities fees, that helps obviously, especially now that we're going remote, to help with the technology infrastructure that's set up, and helping kind of with, still the fees that it comes with, even with Zoom, that the university has and what we're using, the platforms. So those, fees are still being incurred because these are things that we will still be using, all of us, faculty, staff, and students. So that's why they're still part of kind of your tuition for the fall semester.
Awesome. And we just wanted to ask you a very important question, and it's our last question for you. What hobbies have you picked up during quarantine?
At the start of quarantine, I was doing a lot of puzzles. I had a lot of puzzles down in the basement, and then, so kind of dusted those off and started working on those. And Netflix, I think everybody's catching up on all their shows on Netflix, so definitely did that as well.
Yep. I think that was all the questions we had for you today.
Again, advising, if anybody needs, I'm just going to plug in advising there. If anybody has any questions about registration for this semester down the road, definitely contact the advising office. Even if you guys have already declared your majors, like I mentioned earlier, we are available for all students. So check in with us virtually via Zoom. And if you're on campus, we can maybe meet you in person as well. But definitely anytime, just reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Involve podcast. Stay safe and healthy, but also get involved.